time to meet the men from the ministry. We are about to throw a spanner in the wheels of government with Norma Ronald, Ronald Baddiley, John Graham, and the men from the ministry, Richard Murdoch and Deryck Guyler. In the ministry's General Assistance Office, Lennox, Brown and Lamb help any government department that's overloaded. These are men noted for their honesty, integrity and probity. Indeed, for all kinds of tea at all times of day. Secretary Mildred is on hand to provide it.
How would you like your tea this morning?
Without, please.
Without what, sir?
Without your thumb in the cup.
Blimey, some people.
Oh, isn't Mr. Lamb in yet?
Well, it is Monday, sir. And usually after his day off, he has an off day.
Yes, well, that's true. The first few days of the week he sits around like an unplugged lamp.
Morning, Rod. Morning, Mildred. Sorry I'm late, but my bicycle broke down in Trafalgar Square. I couldn't turn the pedals.
What gear were you in, Mr. Lamb?
Just the usual. Bowler hat and pinstripe trousers.
Oh, come along, too. Come along, please. We've got work to do.
Have we? Can't we put off till tomorrow everything we've already put off till today?
Well, you know we can't. The Ministry of Defence wanted this survey 4 weeks ago. They won't swallow the same excuse again.
Why not?
Well, Whitehall could scarcely get cut off by snowdrifts 2 months running, especially in the summer.
Survey of our naval strength, innit? I mean, why's it taking so long, sir? You only got to write down the names of 3 ships.
It's not as easy as all that, Mildred.
Oh.
It's not. No one in the ministry can remember what the ships are called.
And then there's our nuclear submarine. No one's seen that for a year.
Oh, I hope it's all right.
It's all right, Mildred. It's just that we don't know what the blessed thing is.
They accidentally sent it the code word to submerge last August, and they've forgotten the code word to bring it up again.
And as they've got enough supplies for 2 years, we may not see them for a bit.
Well, isn't the Navy Minister worried?
I imagine so. He was on deck when she submerged.
Well, we must get this survey completed, too, or the permanent Under-Secretary will be cross again.
Yeah, I hear Sir Gregory's always getting uptight these days.
Odd that. You'd think he'd have sobered up during the night. Of course, he's at a funny age.
Now then, you two.
Oh, good morning, Sir Gregory. How nice. How very nice to see you, sir.
I have some important news.
Really, sir? Is our pay rise to become effective?
No, Lamb, your pay rise will become effective when you do. This is much more important. I had lunch with a PM last week, and he brought up several things.
Oh, dear. Perhaps he eats too quickly.
Oh, be quiet, Lamb. I mean, he raised several important issues, one of which was worker participation. It's all the rage in industry these days, and the PM feels it should be introduced in the civil service.
Worker participation, eh?
Worker participation could benefit us all. It's something you two should try.
Participating, sir?
No, working.
Thank you, sir.
Staff themselves will be involved in the way things are run. You'll both be on the committee, and Mr. Wilkins next door will be chairman.
I see.
Amongst other things, the committee will combat the rising cost of staff meals.
Well, how will it do that, sir?
Well, the first meeting is 1 o'clock Friday, so you'll all miss your lunch hour.
Oh, I see. Yes. Well, Sir Gregory, I never thought I'd see the day, when staff took over the running of our work.
You won't, Lennox Brown. As far as work is concerned, you'll still be answerable to me.
Answerable to you.
Yes, it's purely a matter of welfare. The committee will deal with such things as the new canteen hot plate. Which reminds me, Miss Murphy, I want you to sit on it.
You are?
You will sit on the committee to give the secretary's viewpoint.
Oh.
No, we're talking of work, Lennox Brown.
Yes.
How are you getting on with that naval survey?
Yes. Well, we've made a good start, sir.
Yes, I've already sharpened the pencil.
Yeah.
Well, as you'll be on the committee, Mildred, they'll want you to keep the minutes. How's your shorthand these days?
Oh, it's coming along very well, sir. I can rub out nearly 60 words a minute.
I can't think what's happened to Mildred, too.
It's as well we didn't wait for her anyway. We're a bit late as it is.
Yes, and with Wizard Wilkins in the chair, the meeting's sure to have started promptly. Yes, here we are now. Come on.
Sorry we're late, Mr. Wilkins.
Oh, do come in, Mr.
Well, have you started without us, Mr. Wilkins?
Started, what?
The meeting.
We really should wait for the chairman, you know.
Oh, but you are the chairman, Mr. Wilkins.
Am I? Oh, bless my soul. So that's why I've got this little wooden hammer.
Well, look, as we're all assembled, perhaps you'd like to recapitulate.
Oh, I don't think that'll be necessary. I went before I came.
Oh, glory. Mr. Wilkins, we are here to discuss proposals for improving staff welfare.
Oh, well, there's no need to rush. Has anyone got any suggestions?
Now, in my opinion, Mr. Chairman, staff should have more opportunities for physical exercise.
Oh, that's a good idea. What did you have in,
Mind?
Not at all. You carry on.
Sport and healthy exercise would keep staff in better shape. Now, for example, may I suggest chess? Or even Ludo?
Ludo? You mean throwing each other around like a lot of Japanese?
Ludo, Mr. Wilkins, not judo.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Oh, the lady on my left.
Miss Lusty from Pensions. May I suggest we tackle something even more, if I may be so bold, even more physical. Wrestling would be great fun, and men versus women would be even greater fun.
Oh, my word. That could turn into something rather saucy if we weren't careful.
Well, who wants to be careful?
Miss Lutz is quite right. Exercise should be physical. What about swimming? I started lessons recently, and the instructor took to me at once. Do you know, I was the only non-swimmer he'd allow in the deep end. And now he regards me as something of an expert.
Well, what makes you think so?
Well, only last week he said, we've got a right one here.
Yes, I heard about that. You were trying to swim in your jacket and trousers.
I'm no fool. If I'd taken them off, I could have caught cold.
Swimming lessons, then. Does anyone second that?
Would it need, Mr. Chairman, that the baths would be full of young men running around half naked and ogling the women?
Well, we'd have to have mixed sessions, yes. I'm afraid it would mean that.
Then I second the proposal. Staff swimming lessons once a week.
Right, then, motion carried.
Ah, here's Mildred at last.
Oh, come along, Millard. You've missed the discussion on sports and pastimes. Where on earth have you been?
I'll tell you where I've been. I've been locked in the ladies' loo, haven't I? The blooming door got jammed. Them tatty washrooms are a living scandal.
Oh, dear. Perhaps the Welfare Committee should probe the girls' facilities.
It's the washrooms you ought to be on about, not blooming sports and pastimes. There's cold water running across the floor.
Oh, the young lady's right. If there's a complaint about water overflowing, it should be channeled through this committee.
There's cold water overflowing, and you can only get hot water if you stand on a chair and hit the cistern with your shoe.
Really?
And the walls are in a shocking state. There's dirty cracks all over them.
Dirty cracks all over the wall?
Yeah, you should see the ones about you, Mr. Lamb.
Mr. Chairman, this must be the Welfare Committee's first task.
Oh, yes, indeed. I agree wholeheartedly. Absolutely.
We must call in a firm of plumbers to come in and plumb.
Oh, that's all very well, Mr. Lamb, but we'll need some, who's going to,
Pay for it?
Well, that's what I said.
I understood Sir Gregory had placed funds at the Welfare Committee's disposal.
Oh, yes, of course, the Welfare Fund. Oh, well, I've got the cash box here somewhere.
We'll have first-class equipment installed, Mildred. Coloured marble basins, brass taps, ceramic tiles.
Blessed thing. Oh, here it is. Let me see now.
Yes, well, how much is actually in the fund, Mr. Wilkins?
Oh, 60 minutes, how much of 15, 35, 85 pence.
Oh, sorry.
That may not run to coloured marble.
Well, there's not much we can do with that, is there? Well, never mind. I've got a suggestion.
You have?
I'm an expert do-it-yourself handyman, you know. I'll tackle the job myself over the weekend.
Splendid, Mr. Wilkins. In that case, we've nothing to worry about.
What's the matter with you two? You've been biting your nails and staring out of the window for over an hour.
I'm working on this survey of naval defences.
Well, what's holding you up?
I can't spell defences.
Good grief. You can't spell defences.
Well, how do you spell it?
Yes. Look, can't you write it down without spelling it?
Oh, you don't care, do you? It's always the same. I get landed with the work while you get ready to sneak off to your club.
Now, that's not fair, too. That's
Well-
not... No, that's not... I've no intention of sneaking off to my club. Certainly not for another 5 minutes.
And I've just had this memo from the Ministry of Defence. What do I do about it?
Well, what do we always do when we're not sure about a memo? Stuff it behind the radiator.
But it says for urgent action.
Then shove it behind the radiator quickly.
I'm not sure that we should. Sir Gregory's been quite niggly lately about these defence jobs.
Oh, dear. What a fuss you make. You really do. Look, give it to me. Give it to me, then.
All right.
Oh, it'll be more about these wretched ships.
Here you are, one.
All right, now then, let's have a look. For urgent action, prepare schedule for visit of Princess to Portsmouth Dockyard on the 20th and submit at once.
Well, what's it about?
Well, what do you think it's about? If the ship's coming into Portsmouth Dockyard, she's obviously due for a refit.
Oh, I see. I suppose she'll be taking part in that big naval exercise.
All you have to do is find our copy of the Naval Manual. It has all the details on refits. It's just like servicing a car. Copy it out and send a schedule to the Ministry of Defence.
We're going there with this survey. Perhaps we could deliver it in person. That would impress them.
Yes, now that's a good idea, that. Yes. It might impress Sir Gregory, too. He's bound to be in a good mood now the washrooms are all fixed up.
I'm sure Wizard Wilkins will have done a good job. He has an amazing grasp of these things.
Aha! There you are.
Here we are indeed, Sir Gregory. Yes, and how are you, sir?
I'm soaked, man. Can't you see? I'm drenched to the skin.
By Jove, yes, so you are. Is it raining outside?
No, Lennox Brown, it's raining inside. My office is under the 4th floor washroom.
Ah, yes, we've had the washrooms refurbished, sir. Did you pop in for a wee look?
I went in and found the cisterns overflowing, water's coming out of the light sockets, the radiators are stone cold, and the weighing machine is red hot. I hear your infernal welfare committee's responsible.
It's possible there may have been a slight error, sir.
A slight error? You realize I now have a constant supply of scalding hot water?
Isn't that good, Sir Gregory?
Not when it's coming from my telephone earpiece. I picked up the phone just now and burnt my ear.
You're sure it wasn't someone talking about you?
No! I demand an explanation.
Well, look, sir, the committee had to improvise, sir, because of the lack of funds.
I've heard enough. I shall call in professional plumbers to sort out the mess. And then I shall sort out this absurd welfare committee you thought up.
But it was your idea, Sir Gregory.
Don't argue, man. Just get out of my sight, the pair of you.
As it happens, sir, we are already about to leave. We are expected at the Ministry of Defence. We have been asked to advise them on the handling of a very important ship, HMS Princess. Oh, my word, yes.
Hello. Yes, this is Admiral Crichton. Yes, I'll be with you as soon as I can. I'm just waiting for a couple of ministry men there to advise us on the right drill for Princess Catherine's visit to Portsmouth. Yes, I thought we'd better get the protocol right. She's a very important lady. That's right, yes, she'll be reviewing the naval exercise. Yes. Well, there's someone coming now. I'll be with you shortly. Come in.
Oh, Admiral Crichton.
Yes?
My name's Lennox Brown, and this is my junior colleague here. This is Mr. Lamb.
Sit down, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, your flagship.
Now then, you got my memo about this Portsmouth visit.
Oh, yes, indeed, and we've drawn up a full and detailed timetable for the Princess.
Oh, splendid. Now, what's the first move when she gets there?
Well, obviously she'll be tied up.
Tied up?
But when you're ready, you can winch her into a convenient position and then go to work on her.
I don't quite follow.
Well, it's the normal procedure, you see, in preparation for stripping her down.
I beg your pardon?
The question is, has she been handled by Portsmouth dockers before?
But the princess?
Well, they may already be familiar with her, in which case it's best to let them get on with it.
As long as they remember to spray her bottom with anti-fouling.
And also hose down a superstructure.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Have I said something out of turn?
You're talking of the princess as if she were some sort of tramp.
Oh, we know she's not a tramp. I mean, she's fighting class, isn't she?
My colleague said destroyer, but I said frigate.
Did you come here to be deliberately offensive?
I say, look, one. His eyes are bulging just like Sir Gregory's.
The princess is a member of one of Europe's oldest royal households.
A member of it? Oh, glory.
Get out before I have you clapped in irons.
It was just a tiny mistake, Mildred. How were we to know the princess wasn't a ship?
I bet Sir Gregory's hopping mad. He gets so temperamental.
Yes, 90% temper and 10% mental. LB's been summoned to see him.
Mind you, Sir Gregory drops a few clangers himself. He's brought in them posh plumbers to fix the washrooms, but they seem to be making things worse.
Really?
Yeah, there's an awful drip in the outer office.
Oh.
Keeps dripping on my desk. This morning I drank the same cup of tea 3 times.
Oh, dear, they must have fractured the water tank.
Too blooming right. Well, what are we going to do about it?
You better borrow my umbrella.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Lamb. But I reckon we ought to put a plastic sheet under the tank.
A plastic sheet? That's a good idea. I think there's one in Fatty Scott's office. It was wrapped round his garden gnome when he bought it for his window box. I'll go and see.
I'll come with you, sir. But if he's got rid of it, there's some waterproof stuff in the typing pool.
As we're both going, we better leave a note on LB's desk, or he'll wonder where we are.
Here's a pencil, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you. Now then, have had to dash out on important business. We have plans for plastic under water tank. Right, let's go, Mildred. The sooner we sort this out, the better.
Well, I'm sorry you're displeased, Sir Gregory, but I don't see why you have to come and inspect our office.
I am seeking the slightest evidence that you've done any work at all on these defense jobs.
Well, come in, sir, if you wish. After you.
You were asked to research new naval weapons. Where are the results, eh? What have you got to show for it, eh?
Well, it may not be readily apparent, sir, but we have papers and documents in various places.
What's this paper on your desk?
Papers, sir? On my desk.
Have had to dash out on important business. We have plans for plastic underwater tank. Good grief. A plastic underwater tank? Can this be true?
Well, I'm sure it can, sir. Oh, yes. I mean, we have all sorts of schemes in mind, I think.
Well, this puts a different complexion on things. I may have misjudged you.
Oh, we forgive you, Sir Gregory.
A military tank that can function underwater. Plastic, so it won't rust. This is a major breakthrough.
A major breakthrough.
Oh, well done, Lennox Brown. Well done indeed.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, well, I'll tell my colleague you're not cross with us after all, and we'll say no more about it.
Say no more about it,
Say
you
no more.
joking man. We'll say a lot more about it. We must tell the PM and defense chiefs at once.
Oh, must we?
Well, the top brass will want to see this thing in action.
but-
By Jove, what a coup if we could show it off during that naval exercise.
Yeah, well, let's not be hasty, sir.
Of course we must be hasty. A bit of prestige for Britain at last. I'll go and set the wheels in motion. A plastic underwater tank, eh? It's a miracle.
General Assistance Department, Lennox Brown.
Pitkin here.
Oh, yes. Hello, Sir Gregory.
I'm calling you to tell you I've done it.
Oh. Is that wise at your age, sir?
What are you talking about, man? I've arranged for the PM and NATO chiefs to attend next week's naval review. They all want to see this underwater tank in action.
The underwater tank.
The PM's delighted. Now, we all assemble on Monday at 1000 hours aboard HMS Insufferable. You lay on the demonstration somewhere in the channel, and you'd better be with us to answer questions.
Oh, Sir Gregory.
I don't want any slip-ups.
Well, I'll try, sir. But he... Oh, he's gone, huh?
Hello, I'm sorry I've been so long. Fatty Scott had lost his wrapper, so he borrowed a plastic sheet from the Welsh office, but it turned out there was a leak in it. In the end, we got one from next door.
What are you talking about?
We put a plastic sheet under the upstairs water tank. I told you in my note.
Well, this note?
Yes.
A plastic sheet?
Yes.
Under the water tank?
That's right. Are you all right, man? Your glasses have missed it up.
Good. Great. So, you've done it again.
What?
Yeah, thanks to your note.
Yes?
Sir Gregory's got half the top brass in Europe turning up to see an underwater tank. He's fixed a demonstration for Monday.
Oh, don't get excited. We can cancel it.
It's too late, Sir Gregory. He would tear us apart with his teeth. He told the PM this is the weapon of the future. He can't admit he's wrong. We'll be exposed, you silly... We're shown up, we're sacked.
Oh, dear. What are we going to do? I mean...
yeah, well, it's no... Yeah, that's right, Carrie. It's no use nagging, is it, now? We've got to think. Well, I've got to think. We'll have to pretend. Yeah, wait a minute. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's what we'll do. Borrow a frogman suit.
Yes.
See, a frogman suit.
Yes.
And find out, for goodness sake, find out how to use it.
Oh.
Right, now you'll be coming with me to Portsmouth on Monday.
It's coming up to 12, Sir Gregory. The demonstration's due to start.
Yeah, that's right, Admiral. One of my minions has made the arrangements. He's somewhere on the foredeck.
Yes, I see several NATO chiefs over there on the port.
Yes. I'm sticking to brandy myself.
Yes, very wise. Well, we're all delighted about this secret weapon.
And it certainly brought out the VIPs. We have senior politicians of all parties.
You must be Sir Gregory Pipkin. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, madam. I've always considered it a great honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. The underwater tank is now approaching this ship. May I ask you, please, to move over to the port side rail. The underwater tank is about to pass beneath the ship.
Well, I don't see anything.
Nor I.
Exactly. You can't see anything, you can't hear anything. This tank has been so designed that the enemy cannot detect it. Being made of soundproof plastic, the tank can strike at the heart of an enemy's fleet without warning. It is passing under the very hull of this very ship at this very moment.
Well, I'm very impressed.
Now, may I ask you, please, to move swiftly now to the starboard rail. And there she goes, still under the surface. Streamlined and silent, leaving, you will notice, no wake.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
Incredible. I think this calls for another brandy.
May I ask a question, Monsieur Lennox Lebrun?
Oh, by all means, General, yes. Or if I may be so bold, pas du tout, General.
We cannot see it. We cannot hear it. How then do we know that something is actually there?
Ah, a good question. Yes.
Merci.
Yes, I wondered who was going to spot that. Well done. Now, are there any other questions?
That froggy fellow's right. How do we know the tank is down there?
Oh, no, Admiral, you see, to demonstrate its presence, the tank will release a buoy, you see, which will float to the surface at noon precisely.
It's 12 o'clock now.
Yes, and there's the buoy. Look, just bobbing to the surface.
Good Lord. Look at that boy. There's a bowler hat tangled up in it.
A bowler hat? Yes. Oh, come along, too. Come on, give me a hand and I'll pull you out of the water. Come on. That's it. I've got your dry clothes here.
Oh, where have you been, man? You said you'd rescue me as soon as you got ashore.
Well, I had to wait until it was dark, didn't I? Besides, it was a small party after the demonstration. I couldn't leave too soon.
But the demonstration was yesterday.
Well, you know how these things run on.
My frogman suit got torn on a rock. For 36 hours I've been walking in and out with the tide.
Don't fuss, Tube. The thing is, we got away with it.
But it can't go on, can it? They'll want to see the tank on dry land.
Yes, well, that's what we have to avoid, too. While you've been larking about in the sea, listen, I've been making plans.
And here is the news read by Brian Martin. Britain's amazing new underwater tank continues its goodwill tour, visiting all the world's major ports without ever breaking the surface. In New York Harbor, thousands gathered to watch the tank enter and leave unseen. United States leaders have called the tank an impressive achievement, but say they have an even bigger one. And American conservationists are worried that the British model may pollute the environment. The Japanese have praised the tank, but say they have an even smaller one. This could be mass-produced more cheaply in imitation plastic-style plastic. And now some late news. The Prime Minister has stated that this major British development is something of which we can all feel justly proud, and in accordance with government policy in these matters, it would now be scrapped. The leader of the opposition commented, "Tanks for nothing."
Ladies and gentlemen, I now declare this Welfare Committee meeting well and truly laid. We welcome back Mr. Lamb after his month in hospital. He and Mr. Lennox Brown have certainly covered themselves in...
Oh, glory.
In glory, yes. I must also say how well the new washrooms are working, and I'm sure we'll all spend many happy hours there.
Yes, and I got rid of that plastic sheet from under the water tank, like it said in the memo.
He meant scrap the secret weapon.
That plastic sheet's all that was holding the water tank together. The old place will be drenched.
Oh, she's right. There's water coming under the door. Oh, my shoes are soaked.
Well, it must have built up in the corridor. Now, don't anyone open that door. Attention, everyone! The building is flooded! Man the lifeboat!
There aren't any lifeboats.
Evacuate the building! Women, children, and me first! Come on, Mr. Murdoch!
Victims of the cistern, as the men from the ministry, were Richard Murdoch and Deryck Guyler. Also featured were Norma, Ronald, Ronald Baddiley and John Graham. The programme was written by Edward Taylor and John Graham and produced by Edward Taylor. Time to meet the men from the ministry. We're off for another spin in government circles with Norma Ronald, Ronald Baddiley, and the men from the ministry, Richard Murdoch and Deryck Guyler. In the Ministry's General Assistance Department, dedicated men spend long hours at their desks. Secretary Mildred Murphy knows never to interrupt them unless it's a matter of real importance.
Here we are. It's 3:30, the perfect time for buns and tea.
Oh, thank you, Mildred. Just put my cup in the out tray, would you?
Don't you mean in the in tray, sir?
No, there's no room in there. I'm growing some hyacinths in it.
Adam and Eve it. Here, you're working hard, Mr. Lamb. You must have been at it for 20 minutes.
It's this job for the Ministry of Transport. We're supposed to ease London's traffic problems.
London's traffic problems?
The only way to ease London's traffic is to make all the streets one way. Straight into the River Thames.
You can scoff one, but I've discovered some amazing statistics.
Really?
Did you know that by the year 2000 there'll be 20 million cars in London?
20 million? That's thousands.
Yes. Exactly. I've suggested the minister should warn the public. If they want to cross the road, they'd better do it now.
Well, forewarned is forearmed, my mum always says.
And the standard of driving is appalling. It says here that in Greater London, a man is knocked down every 30 seconds.
It's hardly worth his while keep getting up, is it?
And did you know, Mildred, if all the cars in Britain were laid end to end on the road...
It would be like an average Sunday afternoon.
You're no help, one. It's always the same. I do the work and you sit there trying to be funny and combing your moustache.
I am combing my moustache for a very good reason. I've been asked to go along and see the editor of the Staff magazine.
What for, sir?
Well, I imagine she wants to discuss the article I sent in recently.
Oh, not that cookery piece you showed me. Unusual things you can do with a cucumber.
No. It turned out they already had plans for a cookery series, you see, so now I've submitted an historical piece. All about the Crimean War.
Oh, sort of personal reminiscences, eh?
That's right, yes. No. This was in the 1850s. Florence Nightingale and all that.
Oh, that. Yeah, I saw it once on telly. The Charge of the Fire Brigade.
The Charge of the Light Brigade, Mildred.
I'll always remember the scene with the ugly old general sitting on his horse.
Yeah, he looked just like the permanent undersecretary.
The general?
No, the horse. Great flaring nostrils he had and foaming at the mouth. Exactly like Sir Gregory. Oh, blimey, it's him.
Good afternoon, General.
Why is it that every time I come in here I find you sitting around doing nothing?
Perhaps it's because you wear rubber-soled shoes, sir.
Oh, be quiet, Lamb.
We are actually working quite hard, sir. Trying to solve London's traffic problem.
Do you know, Sir Gregory, that if all the cars in Britain were laid end to end on the road...
Some fool would still pull out and try to overtake.
Exactly. What?
The only solution to the traffic problem is to have more wardens. We've only half the number we should have. We need more women on the streets.
Do we, sir?
Well, we must start a recruiting campaign. Posters everywhere, slogans, make the job seem attractive. Now, I want you both to get on with it.
We shall certainly do that, sir. Yes, first thing tomorrow.
You'll get on with it now.
On the other hand, we could get on with it now.
Oh, well, you heard what Sir Gregory said, too. You'd better put it in hand. Right, I'm off to see the editor of the Staff magazine.
It's Miss Winterbottom, isn't it?
That's right. Yes. She rather admires me, I think.
It's always the same, Mildred. Whenever there's a job to do, he rushes away and I'm left to cope with everything.
Oh, poor Mr. Lamb. It's a blooming shame.
Well, he's wasting his time with Miss Winterbottom. I hear she's a cold, stern woman.
Do sit down, Mr. Lennox Brown.
Ah, thank you, Miss Winterbottom.
Oh, I admire your article enormously.
Oh, you're very kind.
In particular, I found your section on Florence Nightingale quite fascinating.
Yes, she hardly slept for 2 years, you know. Yes, she was always needed by the soldiers.
Yes, right. It's clear you have skill as a writer.
Oh, yeah?
However, I'm afraid I can't use your Crimean piece. With our health service the way it is, your account of Crimean field hospitals might arouse unhealthy envy.
But, you see, you've already turned down my cucumber offer.
Mr. Lennox Brown, I wish to use your considerable talents in another capacity.
Oh?
I intend to start an agony column in our magazine.
Oh.
You know the sort of thing. Readers write in with their problems and someone gives advice.
Oh. How does this concern me, Miss Winterbottom?
Well, I'd planned to answer the problems myself, but on reflection, I feel it should be done by someone with, more experience of life. Someone who's been through the mill. In short, you, Mr. Lennox Brown.
Me? Oh, well...
You are a sophisticated man of the world.
Well, yes, that's true enough, yes.
And you have flair and confidence. I watch you every morning rattling the tip of your umbrella along the banisters.
Well, I do possess a slight insight into human nature. Yes, I accept your invitation, madam. I shall be delighted to answer your readers' letters.
Good.
Yes.
Now, you realize, of course, that you'll write your column under an assumed name.
Oh.
I had thought of Aunt Evelyn.
Aunt Evelyn? Me? I wouldn't dream of such a thing. Good gracious. Masquerading as a woman.
You'll have a small emolument.
I beg your pardon?
You'll receive a guinea a week.
Oh, Oh, yes. Well, I realize, of course, that advice may be more readily acceptable from a female aunt, yes.
Splendid. Now, just one more thing.
Yes.
I'm sure you'll agree that Aunt Evelyn's true identity must remain secret.
Oh, yes.
No one must know it's you answering the letters.
Rely on me. Yes, I shall be the soul of discretion. Goodbye, and thank you very much, Miss Winterbottom. Yes.
Thank you, Aunt Evelyn.
Isn't it exciting, Mildred? Our traffic warden posters are going up all over London.
Yeah. What slogans did you come up with, Mr. Lamb?
Well, for one, I thought I'd use the football fan approach. Just say, up the traffic wardens.
Yes, that is good.
Morning, Sue. Morning, Mildred.
Hello, Ron. I was just telling Mildred about my brilliant slogans for the recruiting campaign.
Ah, well, I'm afraid I've no time to bother with that. I have some important letters to Auntie, to answer.
Never mind, Mr. Lamb. You tell me about your other slogan.
Right. Well, I wanted to stress the enjoyable side of the job. You know, slapping tickets on people's windscreens. I wrote, it's fun to stick a ticket.
That should fetch him in all right.
I'm sure it will. We'll recruit thousands more wardens, and Sir Gregory will be delighted. He'll come in here and say...
Now then, you two.
And I'll say, hello, Sir Gregory. Hello, Sir Gregory.
Then it's fun.
Sir Gregory, yes.
I gave your department the job of devising slogans to recruit more traffic wardens.
You did indeed, sir.
Well, what the blazes were you thinking of when you composed that slogan?
Which slogan, sir?
Look out of the window, man. That poster across the road.
Oh, dear. The slogans weren't meant to go together, Sir Gregory.
Oh, glory.
Read what it says, man.
It's fun to stick a ticket up the traffic warden.
Ghastly idiotic blunders, isn't it?
Do you require an answer to that, Sir Gregory?
Well, look, instead of recruiting more wardens, we've got hundreds resigning in protest. You've got to do something and do it fast.
You mean we must find another way to attract new wardens?
If you've got that into your head, Lamb, you have it in a nutshell. And if you don't find an answer today, you'll both be bouncing. And it won't be with health.
Well, why don't we offer the traffic wardens something to improve their image?
New uniforms, perhaps. That'd smarten them up.
New uniforms?
Yes.
Yes, well, I suppose it's worth trying. But that'll take time. We need a short-term solution as well.
I'll do my best, sir.
You'll need to do better than that. If at first you don't succeed...
Yes, sir?
I'll murder you.
Blimey, he is cross.
Well, no wonder, the way you bungled those slogans. I'm off to lunch at my club. Be back about 4.
Oh, you see, Mildred, it's just not fair. He leaves me to do all the work while he slopes off to lunch.
Poor Mr. Lamb. Everyone pushes you around like a blooming prawn.
I wish I knew what to do about it.
Here, wait a minute. Why don't you write a letter to that new advice column in the staff magazine? You know, Aunt Evelyn solves your problems.
Oh, I couldn't, Mildred. I'd be too embarrassed.
They needn't know it's you, Mr. Lamb. Sign your letter with a nom de plume. Call yourself something like Hopeless Whitehall.
Oh. Well, I suppose there's nothing to lose, but what could I say to this Aunt Evelyn?
Oh, yeah, look, I'll help you. Just tell her your colleague is a swine.
Oh, Mildred.
Oh, all right then. A thoughtless swine.
Yeah, that's better.
Tell her how he bullies you and he leaves you to do all the work.
I will. And I'll tell her, up with this I cannot put.
Oh, a delightful lunch, dear Mr. Lennox Brown. I really feel I must reciprocate very soon.
Oh, perhaps it was the sherry trifle.
Oh, you will have your little joke.
Oh, well.
But down to business, Mr. Lennox
Yes.
Brown. Or should I say, Aunt Evelyn?
Oh, yes. Now, have there been many more letters?
Oh, they're flooding in.
Ah.
A lot of them from girls in the typing pool. Those teenagers. They can't wait to get married. And most of them don't.
Yes, right. Well, perhaps you'll be kind enough to read one or two, and then I'll dictate the answers.
Yes. There's one star from a secretary in pensions.
Yes.
She says, Dear Aunt Evelyn, last night at the pictures, my boyfriend nibbled my ear right through the film. Should I put anything on it?
Tell her he probably likes it as it is, but you could try dabbing it with marmalade.
Oh, what a warm and witty reply, Mr. Lennox Brown.
Oh.
Yes, now, how shall we reply to this letter from a girl in a coat? Dear Aunt Evelyn, after the office party, I stayed with my boyfriend till 2 a.m. Did I do wrong?
Just say, try to remember.
Oh, my word. How quickly you cut through the pith and get to the point. But I'm afraid this next query won't be so easy. It's truly a cry from the heart.
Really?
It's from someone called Hopeless Whitehall.
Oh, dear.
He says, Dear Aunt Evelyn, my colleague here at the ministry is a thoughtless swine. I do all the work and he takes all the credit. His overbearing attitude is something up with which I simply cannot put.
Oh, poor fellow, what a tragic situation. Yeah, still, we must try to ease the burden. Now, say, your colleague sounds an awful rotter.
Fine.
But there is some good in all of us, and perhaps you can bring out the best in your workmate by being extra pleasant.
Oh, yes.
Win him over with a smile.
Yes.
A smile can go a long way. Turn the other cheek and offer him little gifts. If this doesn't work, please write to me again.
How shrewd and perceptive you are, Mr. Lennox Brown. It's obvious you were born to be an aunt.
Oh, thank you.
Morning, Mr. Lamb. I brought your 11s. Oh, what are you doing? Why are you making faces in the mirror? Is it your toothache again?
I'm not making faces, Mildred. I'm practicing smiling.
Oh, my God.
Aunt Evelyn answered my letter. She said if I smiled, I could go a long way.
With a smile like that, the further the better.
She also suggested I give my bullying colleague little gifts. So I brought along one of my landlady's fruitcakes.
Oh, and you're going to give that to Mr. L.B.?
That's right. I'll put it on his desk. He'll be so pleased.
Morning, too. Morning, Mildred. I want you to... Good grief, too. What's the matter? Why are you snarling at me like that?
I'm not snarling when I'm smiling. And please let me take your coat and umbrella. And I'll pull out your chair. There, do sit down. Shall I open your newspaper for you, or would you rather unfold it yourself?
Oh, glory, he's finally snapped, Mildred. Yes, he'd better see a doctor. I knew it would happen one day.
I don't need a doctor. I've never felt better in my life.
And what on earth is this on my desk? Is it a paperweight?
No, it's a fruit cake.
Look, it weighs a ton. Ghastly. No one could eat that. I'll put it out on the windowsill. Maybe the pigeons will eat it. They can find a woodpecker to break it up for them.
It was a present from Mr. Lamb.
It's all right, Mildred. I'll turn the other cheek.
Well, it's just as ugly as the first one, too. Make sure you tie up this warden job. Oh, and hang my coat on the hat stand, will you, so Sir Gregory knows I'm in. I'm just popping over to the club.
Oh, the blooming cheek. He treats you like a Russian pheasant.
And you'll notice he hogs the hat stand by the window, and I have to put my things in the cupboard.
So Aunt Evelyn didn't help much.
Well, she did say I could write again if her advice didn't work. Hello, General Assistance Department.
Pitkin here.
Oh, Sir Gregory, nice to hear from you.
I've another job for your department. The Arts Council have brought over a Hungarian ballet company from Budapest.
Oh, yes, sir?
It's called the Ballet Pest.
The Ballet Pest.
Now, they're due to open next week at Covent Garden, but all their props and costumes have been lost somewhere at the docks, and you have to locate them.
I see, Sir Gregory.
When you found them, get clearance from customs and send the costumes to the company at once.
I'll get Mr. X. Brown to tackle this first thing tomorrow.
No, Lamb. You'll do it. And you'll do it N-O-W.
Now, sir?
Now. If not, you'll be in the C-A-R-T.
Soup, sir?
Don't be quiet, Lamb. You're off with a nincompoop.
Oh, dear, Sir Gregory is in a foul mood. I wonder why.
Well, I hear he's having a bad time with his girlfriend in the typing pool.
You don't mean Daphne Bentwaters walked out on him?
More or less. She told me Sir Gregory's nearly 60 now, and she doesn't like old age creeping up on her.
I see. So Sir Gregory's got a problem. He certainly sounded as if he had something on his mind.
Miss Frobisher, I don't wish to be disturbed for half an hour. I've an important letter to write.
Very good, Sir Gregory.
Now then, let me see. Dear Aunt Evelyn, I am a middle-aged man. Oh, no, that's not right. I'm a young man with a problem. I find it increasingly hard to attract members of the opposite sex. I do my best, but only meet with rebuffs. What should I do? Yours sincerely, Frustrated.
There's another letter from hopeless Whitehall, Mr. Lennox Brown. I think you'd better read it.
Oh, yes, thank you. Let's see what's it. My colleague is behaving worse than ever. He ignored my smiling overtures and rejected my gift. What should I do now?
It's quite a problem, isn't it?
Well, I'm afraid our correspondent will finally have to hit back. Dear hopeless Whitehall, the time has come to stand up to your bullying colleague. Give this tyrant a taste of his own medicine.
Oh, you're so masterful, Mr. Lennox Brown.
Yes.
Now, what about this strange letter?
Yeah?
It's simply signed, Frustrated. The writer says he can't attract members of the opposite sex.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Yes, well, probably one of those spotty youths in the post room.
What do you advise? He says he meets with rebuffs.
Well, you'll have to learn to be more outgoing. See now, dear Frustrated, what you lack is confidence. Be bold with the girls. Buy some trendy gear.
Trendy gear?
Yes, that's the new with it phrase for clothes, you know. I shall advise him to wear studded leather jackets and pink jeans. That sort of thing. And try and learn the modern with it chat, you see.
Aha! All alone, eh?
Yes, sir. Blimey. Why are you wearing them funny clothes, Sir Gregory?
Yes. Funny clothes?
Well, them pink jeans and leather jacket and the gauntlet.
Oh, that's my new trendy gear. Huh? Yeah, that's what it is. Don't you dig it? Chick?
Well, I don't think it's quite you, sir.
Don't you know a hell's angel when you see one, doll?
Oh, my God. It's the crash helmet with the skull and crossbones I'm not sure about.
I'm a raver, baby! A raver! Yeah!
Oh, you say so, sir. Oh, here. Don't chase me round the desk, Sir Gregory. With them high-heel boots, you'll fall over.
Come on, chick! Let's get it together, you and me!
Look out, sir. You're going to... trip up. There, I told you so. What exactly did you come in for, sir?
Yeah, I thought we might, well, let's just say I just happened to be passing and...
I mean, why the helmet and the gear?
I thought my car might be out of action and I might have to borrow a military motorbike. There's no need to mention this to anyone. Yes, well, I'll go now.
Silly old goat. He's rather blooming twist, he is.
Good news, Mildred.
Hello, Mr. Lamb.
Aunt Evelyn's replied to my second letter in the staff magazine.
What did she say this time?
Listen to this. Stand up to your bullying colleague. Give this tyrant a taste of his own medicine. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Afternoon, Mildred. Two. Don't just stand there. You should be getting on with this traffic warden business.
Why don't you get on with it, one, you bullying tyrant?
Oh, I beg your pardon?
Yes, you ought to beg my pardon. You've exploited me for years. You've ignored my feelings. Yes, don't deny it. You even threw my present out of the window.
What, that mouldy bit of old fruit cake?
Well, I'm going to give you a taste of your own medicine. I'm going to throw some things of yours out of the window. See this bowler hat on your hat stand? Well, I'm going to chuck it out of the window. There.
Oh,
Mr. Lamb!
And your brolly, out it goes.
Oh.
This overcoat can go as well. Whee!
Mr. Lamb, will you please listen?
It's landed on top of a number 12 bus. Now, close the window, Mildred, and Mr. Lennox Brown wants his things back. He can jolly well go down and collect them himself.
No, Mr. Lamb. Mr. Lennox Brown's things are in the map cupboard.
That'll teach him to... What?
He kept complaining that he had the hat stand and your things went in the cupboard. So I took pity on you and I switched them round.
You mean...
All that gear you just chucked out the window with your own.
They were all my things.
Well, it's no use nagging to. We tried to tell you.
My overcoat will be halfway to Clapham Common by now.
Oh, and a taxi's just done for your hat and umbrella.
Oh, well, cheer up, Mr. Lamb. At least you haven't had the permanent undersecretary shouting and swearing at you lately.
Where are they? Where are they?
Blimey, talk of the devil.
Hello, Secretary.
Oh, I'm glad you got rid of that trendy gear, sir. You looked the right one and no mistake.
That will do, Miss Muffin.
Oh.
Lamb, I hear this latest traffic warden move is your idea.
Yes, Sir Gregory. I realised it would help reduce London's traffic if we made the wardens more mobile.
So, what did you do to make the wardens more mobile and thus reduce the traffic?
I issued every warden with a car.
Issued every warden with a car.
Yes.
So you've doubled the amount of traffic on the road. And not only that, wardens are spending all their time giving each other parking tickets. Fights have already broken out in Mayfair and Knightsbridge. Wardens are shoving plastic bags over each other's heads saying, out of order.
An ugly situation, sir.
Indeed, and the ugliest thing of all is Lamb himself.
Thank you, sir. But don't worry about the traffic wardens anymore. I've arranged for their new uniforms to be issued today. That'll attract the recruits we've been wanting.
Well, let's hope so, Lamb, for your sake. Oh, and another thing. I told you to get the Hungarian ballet costumes delivered to the company at their theatre. Has that been done?
It's in hand, sir. The ballet costumes arrived today in big blue trunks, and the wardens' uniforms were stacked in wooden crates in the ministry yard. Mildred had them all dispatched at lunchtime.
Thank heavens someone gets things done.
Just a minute, Mr. Lamb. You told me it was the warden's uniforms in the big blue trunks and the ballet stuff in the crate.
The ballet crates in the wardens... oh, never mind, Mildred. As long as it all went off, we're all right.
We're not all right, Mr. Lamb. The ballet gear's gone to the warden.
Oh, glory.
And here is the news, read by Brian Martin. There were amazing scenes in London today when traffic wardens appeared in their new uniforms. Male wardens are now clad in short gold lame jackets and white tights. Some motorists doubted their identity in these skin-tight garments, but most wardens showed their credentials. Female wardens were wearing leotards and brief frilly tutus. A London policeman said, "Now I've seen everything." The wardens had to cope with heavy parking in Covent Garden, where the Prime Minister attended a performance by the Hungarian Ballet. Our arts correspondent says it was an unusual occasion, presenting Swan Lake in what seemed to be modern dress. The entire corps de ballet were dressed in long black overcoats and peaked caps, and the ballerina dancing the Dying Swan had a yellow armband and leather satchel. The prince entered in heavy boots and stuck a ticket on her outstretched leg.
Well, it hurts me to say this, you two, but your plan to give wardens these odd costumes has worked very well.
Has it really, Sir Gregory?
Yes, the white tights in particular seem to appeal. Hundreds of women have joined up as wardens, and in Chelsea, a lot of young men as well.
Yes, they're a funny bunch in Pont Street.
More wardens will help solve the traffic problem, as I've said all along. Yeah, there could be an OBE for me in this.
Nice of him to apologise like that.
Well, sir, I think I'd better do the same. I simply didn't realise I'd been treating you so badly, you know.
Good of you to say so.
Fancy you being hopeless Whitehall.
Yes, and fancy you being Aunt Evelyn. I pictured a much taller woman.
Well, I'm not Aunt Evelyn anymore. Only you and the editor know I was Aunt Evelyn, and I'd be obliged if you just keep it to yourself.
Oh, of course, man, you wouldn't want it to get out.
Mind you, I think some of my advice had value. My last reply, for instance. Here, in today's magazine.
You mean this letter from worried secretary?
That's it, yes. She feels awfully tense because one of her bosses is a bully and the other one moans all the time.
Ah, yes. She says they're always quarrelling.
That's
and
right.
You say, these rows between your bosses are absurd. Try to play them down and pour cold water on them.
Now then, you two, I'm sick and tired of your quarrelling, and Aunt Evelyn's told me what to do.
Mildred, you wrote to Aunt Evelyn?
Yeah, and she told me to pour cold water on your boat.
No, Mildred, no. I mean, she meant pour cold water on the quarrel.
I know what she meant.
Put down that fire bucket, Mildred.
Muddling through as the men from the ministry were Richard Murdoch and Deryck Guyler. Also featured were Norma Ronald and Ronald Baddiley. The programme was written by Edward Taylor and John Graham and produced by Edward Taylor.